Shalom, Shalom. Call Lawyer Howell. By Shema Mashiach, Malaki Awashai. Wawaka Kadash. It tells the walk of Baba, Mishwan, Kwa. Come here, Shalom, Abadam, Abdiam, Kwa, Akwa. Hey man, we back at it with another video. To the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema. Yahweh by Shema Awashai. Brothers and sisters already know what time it is. Sirach series. Alright, let's jump into chapter 6. Let's start at verse number 1. Okay, Sirach 6:1 says, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner, right? It says, even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Right, so instead, what does it say? It says, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, man. So at the end of the day, this is going into living peaceably with all men. As Paul said, and I believe in the book of Romans, the 12th chapter. You want to live peaceably with all men. If you can have anything, any bone in your body to do something, brother, don't become somebody's enemy, man. You know what I'm saying? In the book of Sirach, chapter 32, your brothers and sisters know during this series I'm trying not to get precepts in the book of Sirach. But, you know, in Sirach 32, it talks about speaking wisdom out of turn, or just speaking out of turn. You understand that? You want to be able to get along righteously with people to the best of your ability, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you build a nation and have brotherly and sisterly love, man. You understand? You might not like a certain person's spirit. You might not like the way they move, how they talk, or whatever. But you gotta be humble, meek, and lowly enough to understand. I mean, who the hell are you? You understand that? You got your flaws and all that other stuff. You understand that? And with this mindset, it helps you to be meek. It helps you to be humble and lowly. Verse 2, Sirach 6:2 says, extol not thyself in the counsel of it says, extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Alright, so don't extol yourself in the counsel of your heart. So kind of just keep this chapter in this context, like I was just saying, man. Now, okay, you might not like a certain brother, or you might not like a certain sister. You might not like the way they talk. You might not like the way they carry themselves. They play too much. They too bland. They always got something negative. Whatever it may be. Don't extol yourself in the counsel of your heart and bring up all of these accusations and reasons for you not to like them. But at the same time, they don't like you because you're over judgmental, because you're over righteous, and they're being mean. You're being mean. You understand that? What that's doing is extolling yourself in the counsel of your heart. And really, you can go, if you want to take it to the extreme, you burn hatred in your heart. You understand that? Right, so don't extol thyself in the counsel of thy heart, meaning like, hey, don't lift yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Just because you might have a person that you may not have to get along with, or whatever the situation or scenario may be, just because, you know, you and a person are not on 100% terms, don't think you just so right for, or you so justified in your reasons for not liking that person. You understand that? Just keep it at a level towards them. You can keep it mellow. You can keep it distance. Right? Let's read on verse 3. It says, right, verse number 3 says, thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as dry as a tree, because you so focused on the things that other people doing wrong. You so focused on the things that you got, the thoughts that you have towards somebody else, and how you just really don't like it. You're leaving yourself dry because you never examined yourself to see if you do the same thing or see how you come off. Right? It says, verse 4, a wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn. Right? A wicked soul, right? Laughed to scorn of his enemies, right? Because guess what? I bring this out all the time. Revelation 12:17 say the so-called white man is going to make war with us. He's going to make war with us as World War III starts to continue to brew up, and we continue to change people's minds to come in and get them to come back to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make war with us. Right? As soon as that war kick off, during the whole time that you had to repent and to get yourself right, hey, guess what? The Most High wasn't dealing with that. Now he about to have you get folded by a Moabite, right? A slant-eyed Moabite, right? Let's read on. It says, verse number 5, sweet language will multiply friends, man. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase congregants, right? So learning how to communicate with people will increase your friends, right? And it's okay to increase friends, right? Because you don't want enemies, right? Everything ain't about having enemies and you just being so overly high and mighty, man. You understand that? Greeting each other with a nice greet, you know, respect and reverence in this truth is what the Lord is dealing with. Let's read on. Verse number 7. Verse 6. It says, be at peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000 men. Now, be at peace with many. Don't be that one brother. Don't be that one sister that just seems like you can never get along with nobody. You just can't never get along with nobody, man. You can't get along with nobody. Everybody seems to have something to say about you, but every time you bring the matter up to somebody else, hey, it's always they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. But you just can't never fit in, man. You understand that? The Lord said, be at peace with many. Verse number 7. If thou wouldest to get a friend, prove him first. It says, and be not hasty to credit him. Right? So if you get a friend, right, you multiplying your friends, right? If you jump forward to Sirach 22, it's going to tell you, don't let everybody in your house. Don't let everybody in your business, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't uncover that secret things to a stranger. Right? That's wise. That's wisdom. Right? If you get a friend, you got to prove him first. Right? You first meet somebody, you're not going to let them, you know, in your parents' house where you know you got $1 million stashed up. You understand that? You have to prove them. You have to see something up to where as though you have a certain amount of respect. Right? That's going into respect. Because you see, now you might see, you know, you might meet somebody, you know, they cool, whatever, however it may go, but respect and trust has to build within that friendship. Right? So you have to prove a friend to gain trust. Proving means to what? It means to continue to try the reins of that relationship. Right? Let's read on. Verse number 8. It says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in that day of trouble. And that's why you gotta prove somebody. Because you're gonna prove them to see why are you cool with me? What do you like about me? What don't you like about me? Because then you got that one friend, as soon as something pop off, they something is crazy. But really, in this truth, you got that one friend is that he get around one group of brothers and he act like, hey, this man right here, he's high and mighty. Man, this is my right hand man right here, he's high and mighty. He gets around a different group of brothers, he like, oh yeah, these men are high and mighty. My man right here, you know, he's pretty average, he's okay, he's on my level, right? Certain men have that spirit. You feel like somebody's on your level, or you feel like somebody's equal to you because they might not have men under them, or you feel like a sister is equal to you because her husband is on the same level as your husband, or whatever it may be. You understand that? All that spirit has got to go, man. That's probably one of the most annoyingest things to see men and women do, man. It's true. To think that another man is on another level and they deserve a different amount of reverence and respect, man. Right? That's that being a friend in an occasion and name. Let's read on. Verse 9. And there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. Right? There's a traitor, man. There's a traitor. That's what that's going into. Verse 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of affliction. Right? But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. Right? It says in thy prosperity, he gonna be hand in hand, right? Doing, you know, y'all gonna get along, man. Y'all gonna get along. But when you go through that adversity, that's when somebody's really gonna be tried. That's when your real friends are gonna be tried. Right? When somebody brings up an accusation against you. Right? When you're put in a situation to where as though that friend has to defend your name because he's surrounded by people that's dashing your damn name. You understand that? Let's read on. Where are we at? Verse 11. Right, verse 12. It says, if thou be brought low, he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. All right, verse 12. If thou be, it says, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Right, from thy face. Verse 13. It says, separate thyself from thine enemies. Right? It says, separate thyself from thine enemies, which is your own people and these other nations. This isn't only talking about interracial marriages, right? This is talking about our own people. Right? Separate thyself from thy enemies. Right. Oh, it's like I lost my spot. It says, and take heed of thy friends, because it's going to being a true friend. A true friend is not only going to be that man that's in name, right? He only got something to say when it's, when it's in favor of you, right? But he don't want to defend your name. Let's read on. It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such as one hath found a treasure. Because it's love when you find a friend, especially in this truth, man. Because, it's different. Well, I'm going to break it down like this. Listen, now, you come into this truth, it's based off of theology. It's based off of theology, man. It's based off of religion. But people hate to say this. People is probably about to be in my comment board, screen recording. This truth is based off of religion. It's based off of theology, right? Your theology is your practice on your practice and the belief, you know what I'm saying, of a higher power in general. And your religion is your customs and your morals and your heritage. Now, when you have a congregation like such, you have a sense of lifestyles, right? A lifestyle that's sought after, right? A sense of morals and virtues that's sought after, right? You come into this truth, you don't know everybody's history, man. People don't know where I come from. You don't know what I used to do, right? You don't know what I've been through, right? And I'm one of those type of people to where as though you won't be able to guess. You're not going to be able to guess because I don't talk that often, right? And you got other people, they don't talk that often. But you got some people, guess what? They are high and mighty. They open their mouth. They feel like because they done X, Y, Z in their past life, they own some type of entitlement. You understand that? Now, with that being said, let's read this precept again. It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such as one hath found a treasure, right? Because a true friend is somebody that's not going to be all high, and we keeping this in context of the whole chapter, right? Somebody that's not high and mighty of his own mind to think that he's just something marvelous, man. You understand that? And where you come from your past is it plays a role. It plays a role. The type of friend that you was able to be in the past versus the type of friend that you just your damn common sense of what to do now. Because some people, the point of me saying that was some people, they come into the truth and they get friends. Right? In the world, you didn't have no friends. You was at the lunch table by your damn self, right? You got picked on in school. Right? This is a lot of men in the truth. So you may not know how to genuinely have friends, how to genuinely have relationships with friends. You understand that? Now, this is why the scriptures is saying to find a true faithful friend is a diamond in the rough, man. It's a diamond in the rough, man. To say the least, right? As Sirach said it best. Right? It's a diamond in the rough. Now let's read on. Where are we at? Verse number 15. Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Why? Because our friend is going to be there when you need him. It's the medicine of life, right? That's a quality of a friend. So if you got a friend and he's not there, if you have a friend and he's not there when you need him, not saying that you just such a needy guy. If it's simple, basic things. If he can't be there when you need him, man, he's not a medicine of life. That's an attribute to a friend that he should have. If he don't got it, you got to examine everything, man. The Lord said you should know men by their fruits at the end of the day. It says, a faithful friend is a medicine of life. It says, whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor also be. Right? Because if I'm fearing the Lord, if I'm in his truth, I know the wisdom. The Most High gave me certain wisdoms And he gave me these scriptures to be a guide to let this friendship right. So guess what? What that's saying is, hey, guess what? If I'm not going for thievery and theft, if you're my friend, you know we're not gonna go do that, right? If you know I'm not going for smoking weed and getting drunk, you know we're not going for that, brother. You understand that? That's our friendship is gonna be led right under the fear of the Most High, right? And that's what makes it a correct friendship. That's what makes your friendship justified, right? Because you read about in the scriptures, counsel of the ungodly, right? And a friendship is counsel, same thing, right? Now let's read on. Verse number 18. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age, right? Gather wisdom from your youth up, find wisdom till your old age, man. And I'm a young man, and I gather as much wisdom as I possibly can. That's why I'm doing this Sirach challenge, through the mercies of the Most High. Verse number 19. It says, come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. And thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned, and he that is without understanding will not main with her. Let's break this down. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. Now, the unlearned is, you know, you're Jake in the world, man. They're unlearned. Because when you breaking down the commandments, when you breaking down certain secrets to wisdom, they like, wait, that's kind of contrary to what I'm doing now. It's unpleasant, man. Right? And it says, he that is without understanding will not remain with her. If you have no understanding, let's break this down. Okay, boom. I just read this precept and I can break it down. But if I can't go and apply this when I hop out the car and walk in the house, I have no understanding. If I read a precept that says, thou shalt not kill, I read it and I know it. I know the precept. I can quote it, all of that. I hop out this car and, you know, grab a gun about wherever I might have a gun and go point it at somebody and kill them. I don't have no understanding, right? Your understanding comes from when you apply it once you already know it. You have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You might have the knowledge, but your understanding is where you can flip it, right? You can understand it. You can't use the same word in the definition, right? You can flip it and you can explain it and apply it in different ways once you already have the knowledge, right? That's your understanding. Let's read on. She will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her far from where it belong, right? Meaning, when you're going through those trials and tribulations, and that knowledge that you have, which is that wisdom, is sitting on you as a trial, right? It's going to continue. Like, your faith is tried, right? You read about that all throughout the scriptures. Your faith being tried. You understand that? And then guess what? They want to cast it far from them because they can't take the heat. Can't take the heat, all right? Let's read on. It says, for wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. It says, give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel, and put thy feet. Hold on, I want to get a precept on that. Give ear, my son, and refuse not my counsel. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse number 23. Deuteronomy, chapter 32, 32, and verse number it's lucky. I'll just read on down. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 22. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with the burning heat. And with the bitter destruction I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust, the sword without, and terror within, and shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, and the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said I will scatter them into corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among them. Where Not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord hath not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel. Right? This is the precept I wanted. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them, man. We are a nation void of counsel. What did Sirach say? Sirach 6 and verse number 23. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. But nowadays, we're a nation without counsel. We don't want to come back to the scriptures. We don't want to come back and learn to what the Lord got going on. And even today, men and women in this truth, you might receive instruction. You might receive counsel from a brother, from a different sister, and it's just so hard to be here because your flesh is telling you something else. You're refusing the Lord's counsel, right? Receiving counsel is something that a lot of us in this truth need to work on. You understand that? Let's read on. It says, and put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder and bear her, which is wisdom, and be not grieved with her bonds, right? The trials and tribulations. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and thou shalt be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. Right? Because then you go through that. Let's get a precept. Because you're going through that trial. You're going through that furnace, right? Let's get this precept. In Isaiah chapter Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. It reads, for mine own sake, even for mine own sake will I do it. For how shall my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another, man. Right? Because, hey, you have to go through trials and tribulations because we're in immortal bodies. Here it is. You don't go through no trials and tribulations. You're 100% perfect. What's the point in even knowing you in captivity? If you're already 100% perfect. It's for my own sake. Right? It's written in Paul. It's like, right? Paul said, it's written in 2 Corinthians, right? The Lord said, hey, he gave him a thorn in the flesh. Paul asked why. Hey, it's so good. So it to keep you humble, to keep you lowly. Right? So you can continue to praise the Most High. Because how much you need him. You understand that? We're just a creation. Let's read on. Let's read on. Verse number 30. For there is, and that's our robe of glory, man. It's glory when you go through the trials and tribulations. It's glory when you go through a hard situation and you make it out and you made the right decision. It's glory when it's the middle of the night, literally midnight, and you could have just went in the house and went to bed, but you decided to do the work of the Lord because you was slothful this morning. You didn't feel like getting up, man. Right? It's glory when you go through these things and you make the right decision. Let's read on. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and thou shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. Right? Didn't the Lord say, put on that beautiful garments, O Zion? Right? Right? In the book of Isaiah. Right? That's that putting on that. It's really immortality. Because you go through the trials and tribulations and you escape the ways of the devil, which is really death. Sin is death. You escape that death. You continue to escape sin. You continue to escape that death, man, to eternal life. Imagine that. All we're trying to do right now is battle sin. Battle sin, battle sin, battle death. Whole time death is promised to us. That's Song of Solomon, that's Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter. Let's get there real fast. Ecclesiastes 2 and 11. Let's get that in Ecclesiastes 2 and... It's lucky if I don't find this. There you go right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse number 18. Yeah, I hated. So like verse number 17. Ecclesiastes 2 and 17. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yeah, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me, man. So here it is, we fight death, we fight sin, just to leave our life to somebody else. But through us getting this fight is immortality. What I'm trying to say is the prize is way so much more glorious and great than the damn punishment, man. If you keep falling short and you give up, right? Let's read on that Sirach chapter 6 and verse number 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. That's a good precept. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt multiply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. That's mighty. That's mighty. Let's read that again. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Right? Because we need to be taught in these last days. The Lord said, ye have need that ye be taught again. In the book of Hebrews, the 5th chapter, and I believe the 11th verse. Right? Hebrews, the 5th chapter, ye have need that ye be taught again. Right? Right? So everybody needs to be taught in this truth. Same way you came into the truth as a babe, you should be listening to breakdowns. You should be asking for counsel, having godly conversations, right? Watching, learning from other people when they're not teaching, right? They don't even know that you're learning from them, but you being observant, vigilant, right? That ye be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent, right? Prudent meaning what? Meaning you're being discreet. That's what I was talking about earlier in this chapter about pouring wisdom out of time and during the first verse. Let's read on. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. You have to love to hear, man. A lot of people don't love to hear. A lot of people love to ask a question, allow you to say one or two words, and then go ahead and then cut you off and then keep talking. Or we're having a conversation. I might be speaking. I might have said 2 sentences. I came up with 2 sentences, 2 full sentences. By the time I start my third, you're like, oh, hold on, I gotta say something. You just can't damn control your damn self. You can't, man, I wish I could say it more how I want to, but I can't. That's something that racked my nerves. Men and women, they can't control themselves when you're speaking. I'll be prudent, right? That's what this is talking about. Being prudent, right? It says, I'm gonna read that one more time. It says, if thou shalt be prudent, right? It says, if thou love to hear, then thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise, man. Because sometimes if you give a second for people to speak, if you give a second for people to talk, you can come up with a proper response, right? Because you heard the whole matter. That's why Sirach 11 need and say what it said. Let's read on. It says, stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let their mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom, and at thy own desire, man. That's why the Lord said in the book of James, asking you shall receive liberally, if you're doing the Father's will. You understand that? That spiritual light cut off right on time, man. And with that, Kwame Shalom.